Hey y'all, it's time for some damn good content. I'm Shelby Clement, your host and business bestie. I'm a content creator, social media manager and coach, keynote speaker, wife, and a mama of two who ditched her 9 to 5 to build a thriving multi-six-figure business solely using social media. Just like you, I'm a working mom and a wife with limited time. So I'm committed to cutting the fluff and delivering tips and fresh ideas straight to your earbuds on how you too can harness damn good content and create that type of business that you love and are proud of. Each week, we'll deep dive into strategy and mindset of building your brand on social media so that your confidence and success in the online space can skyrocket. Get ready to step outside of your comfort zone and start creating some damn good content. Are you ready? Let's freaking get it. Welcome back to Damn Good Content. I'm your host, Shelby Clement, and I have my dear friend, Caroline with Goodness Gracious here with us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Just two mamas running a business here in one room.
Yep.
Okay, I want to deep dive after. In the end, I will give everybody a lowdown of who Caroline actually is to let them know a little bit more. But I want to go straight into it. Let's talk about Goodness Gracious. Let's talk about where the name came from. How was it born? Tell me everything.
So, Goodness Gracious is a ceramic impression keepsake business that I started in 2020. I was a stay-at-home mom looking for something creative to do, and I got the idea for Goodness Gracious because I wanted to replicate some keepsakes that my mom has, that she has always had in her home from my siblings and I. Whenever we were in a little preschool, we did them. And so I got the idea to replicate them for my kids and really just snowballed from there. I did friends and family for a while and then approached my husband about starting a business. And he was like, yes, oh my gosh, this is so you. And I told him the name and he was like, that's perfect. And so, yeah,
That's it.
yeah, that's
Well, I will say this. We have some of her work and it's amazing. I actually have the Easter egg I was telling her before this is the Easter egg. And my husband's like, why is that still up? It's not Easter. Because obviously as a mom, you love the sentimental aspect. So
Yes.
the Christmas plates, the Easter plates, just like anything and everything I've gotten from you, I literally keep up. It's on a shelf all year round.
Oh, thank
So
you.
let's back up a
Yeah.
little bit. Tell us where the name came from, because I know you literally just said like when your husband found out you were gonna name it that, like he was like, that's perfect. So give me a little bit of that.
So, goodness gracious is just something that I grew up saying. It really reminds me of my grandmama. She would say, "Goodness gracious, Granny," all the time. And
Aw.
so, that's just, I wanted something that wasn't my name, but that was sentimental and meant something to me. And so, that's where goodness gracious came from. And I just shortened it, didn't add the Granny.
That is
But
so cute. I love that
yeah.
story.
I thought
Have you
it
ever
was
told it?
Southern. I don't think so.
Well, you heard it here
But
first.
yeah.
So wait, your
Exclusive.
husband was like, heck yeah, let's do this? Like he loved it.
Yes. I mean, he had seen me. So before I was staying home, I worked for 8 years in an office setting. I worked for the Department of Insurance.
Oh, fun.
And so, well, not fun. And so once I had my first baby, I kind of realized, okay, this is not what I want to be doing. If I'm spending time away from my baby, I want it to be something that I love doing, that I'm
Yeah.
passionate about, and preferably something creative.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know what that was going to be yet. I really had no idea. And so whenever was pregnant with my second baby, it was a boy, and we kind of prepared for me to stay home. And so I started staying home in 2018 and kind of quickly realized I also missed working
Yeah, you
and this
needed
is
the
really
balance.
hard,
Yeah.
and needed something for myself. And so that's whenever I was like playing around with ceramics and replicating those childhood keepsakes. And yeah, just kind of went from there.
Kind of
And
just
he was
snowballed.
so happy because he saw me kind of be unhappy in
Yeah.
my previous job. And he was like, yes, I can totally see you doing this. And it would be flexible, like he works in surgery, so he does not have a flexible schedule at all.
Right.
and we needed that because my daughter was going to be starting. She was in pre-K then, but thinking ahead to
Yeah.
kindergarten, he was out the house by like 5:30 most mornings, and that just wasn't going to be,
Ideal.
conducive
Yeah.
to children's schedules. So,
Absolutely not.
yeah.
Well, that's so cool. I love how you said, okay, a few things. My brain's like going
Mhm.
all over the place. So you said you started this really in 2020, correct?
Yes, as a business in 2020.
Pre-COVID, after
Um,
COVID,
so my
during
plan
COVID.
was
Which
yes,
one?
yeah, pretty much 2020 was COVID, but my plan was to start in spring of 2020 and then
Bam.
COVID, yeah.
God had different
So
plans for you.
exactly, but it's okay. It gave me more time to perfect everything.
Yeah.
And so September 2020 was when I officially started
Started.
as a business. So coming up on 3 years
So
now.
you skyrocketed. So I want to take a moment back because a lot of our audience is like a lot of you and I. It's
Mhm.
moms or women that want to chase their dreams when they realize they're really just unfreaking happy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to live my life like this. So let's go figure it out. You left your job without knowing what was next. You
Yes.
thought in your mind,
I would
1000%,
just
I
stay
was staying
home.
home.
Yeah. I thought I would be Martha Stewart, like just the perfect stay-at-home mom, and it was just so hard. Like,
And you're just like, well, we don't give enough
yeah.
kudos to stay at home moms.
Oh
Like,
no,
truly,
not at all.
no.
It was hard, and my daughter was 4, and I had a newborn, and they were such different ages that
Yeah.
she was wanting to go, 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 and he
You,
was kind of a more difficult baby than she was, so it was hard.
just not ideal.
Yeah.
So, but
No.
the fact that you knew and your husband knew that it was okay to take that risk,
Mhm.
that you were just, and how did it feel when you were like deuces to your insurance place?
Um I mean, it was great because I was like, okay, this is my way out. I mean, that sounds
Yeah.
terrible because I loved my employees. I mean, my coworkers and my boss. I really loved who I worked with. I just didn't love the work. And so that felt good. I was like, okay, I can find something else. This doesn't have to be forever.
Yeah.
And so I was very happy and
Yeah.
um hopeful about being home with my kids.
Yeah.
But I'm like type B personality, so I wasn't good at like planning out our days as a stay-at-home mom. That was like really daunting and hard for me, especially at those different ages that they
Yeah.
were. So, I don't know.
So then this just fell into your lap.
Yeah,
Truly.
kind of.
So, okay. I just want to make sure we wrap around the whole thing is
Yeah.
when you did started Goodness Gracious, you were just like, I want to start doing keepsakes of my kids like my mom has.
Hmm.
How did you learn? Like, how did you figure it out?
Oh my gosh, so much research,
Mm-hmm.
tons of trial and error. Like it really took a good year, more than a year, to really like hone in on what to do, what not to do. Like, because we have a very fickle climate, and our specific climate, and clay is very fickle.
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty tedious process to get to the
Mm-hmm.
final product.
Yeah.
And so it was just a lot of trial and error, a lot of learning from my mistakes, a lot of time spent coming up with the designs and what I wanted them to look like. So, yeah, just a lot of doing, a lot of
Yeah.
practice. Like I would lay a piece of clay in front of my kids and they would know exactly what to do
They're like,
because
crap,
they
let's do
were,
this
yeah.
again. So how many keepsakes do you actually have your children? Or is it one of those things
Oh,
where like you perfected and then you're like,
no,
crap.
I'm going to be surrounded by these in my old age. I've got
You're gonna be like the crazy
countless.
ceramic
Yes, I
lady,
am.
not the cat
I've
lady.
got every holiday, every color, you name it. I mean, possibilities are pretty endless. So I've got a
Everything.
lot.
I like
Yeah.
feel like I need to come back to you. Like one year, I feel like it was, I don't even know. It was like in my mind, I was like, I have to go every year. And Kelsey was like, and I was like,
Ah.
I don't
Oh, I
know.
have
Is that
people
not a
that do
thing
that.
that like you
Yeah.
have to go every year to get your kids? Like,
You don't have to, but some people do. And it's good to see how they've grown. And some people come and get this holiday at
I need to
this
come get some
time.
holidays.
Yeah, it's fun to take out whenever when the seasons are changing and the kids love it. Like they get excited to put their hand in the impression and say like, look how big
I
I've
want to do the I need
gotten.
to do the Santa plate. I just realized that I don't have a
Yeah.
Santa plate. I have just I have this sibling plate
I love the holiday ones. I
I
really
have the
do.
hanging ornament hand, or I have it on like a little, what do you call that?
Mhm.
Like a pedestal? No, what am I
Ornament
thinking?
stand?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, got that for all of my. It's actually a great in-laws gift and a parent gift, a
Oh,
grandparent gift.
so many grandparent gifts,
Like
like
my in-laws loved it. They're
yeah.
not hard to buy for, but you just don't know. But anything grandkids,
Well, and it's so
and they
sentimental,
love it
and you can literally have it forever.
ever.
Like, it everybody
Yeah.
wants that.
I love it. Now I'm
I
like, crap, I
think.
need to go put my kids to
Everybody
bed.
needs
Like,
it,
dang it. And I
yes.
will say this, like, we came to see you, I think it was like when I first started
It
my
was
business.
2021, I remember when
Because
you
I
came.
first started, went to Suella, shout out
Mhm.
Mallory.
Yes.
And it was so quick. I was so nervous because
You were
I was
nervous?
like, this is chaos. I don't know how she's gonna do this. Because it's just like you have two little kids. I mean, Willie was like 6 months old, I think. I don't even know. He might have been walking, I don't know. But then Henry,
He was little, he was a baby, and,
yes.
Willie was baby,
Yeah. And then
and,
Henry was
Henry was probably, like,
2.
2, I think? Yeah.
So then, yeah, baby.
It
Oh
was
my God.
2021, I remember.
So yes, because Willie was only like 6 months old, probably.
You had just started and you messaged me before, but well, I had messaged you.
Because I accidentally ordered. I mean, I took like 17 slots on accident. And that's what you
Oh,
did.
I
That's what I
forgot
did.
about
Because I was like,
that
I am not
too.
good at this.
Funny.
And you were like, you don't need that many slots. And I'm like,
How
well, I
many
have
kids
4
do you have?
kids.
Yeah.
Well, I think I signed up for, you know what happened? Because you're a hot commodity. I'm saying this. She is. You went to Suella, you only had certain slots. Kelsey and I both set an alarm to
Oh
like
my
do your
gosh.
sign up link, I think. Don't you
Mhm.
do that?
I used to,
Okay,
yes.
yes. And Kelsey's like, make sure whoever gets it first, like make sure you sign up for all 4 kids. So I literally took 4 slots. And you're like, how many kids do you have? I'm like, 4. And you're like, you don't.
Yeah,
I
can we
didn't
give
read.
those other 2 to somebody
I
else?
didn't
Yeah.
read the fine print.
It's okay. That's yeah, a lot
It's
of people
fine. It's
don't,
fine.
but it's okay.
So almost 3 years in. Love
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I won't tell anyone if you say no.
No,
I'm
I
kidding.
mean, yes,
It's owning a business. There's good days, there's bad days. Totally
for
fair.
sure, and I've definitely experienced burnout and, everything that goes with owning a
Yes.
business, but I do still really love it, and so, like, I get excited to have appointments and
Yeah.
for new products and yeah, I
There's
mean
multiple things that you just said that I literally can't wait to hit on just because you're a mom. We live our lives now on social media. I'm assuming, did you just start out of the gate using social media to advertise for your business?
Instagram.
Is that your number one referral base, or is it truly still word of mouth?
So word of mouth was huge for
Yes.
me. I mean, I think if you have a really good, unique product, people are going to talk about it,
Yes.
and that's what they did. Everybody would um, show their friends, their family, post it to Instagram, and yeah, that was
Were
huge.
you one of
Instagram
the
was also
first
huge, but
people that did this?
in this area, yes.
Because I feel like they're popping up now, which is fine.
Hmm.
Everybody has competitors. It's great.
Yeah.
You just they talk about how you hit a market at the right time. And I feel like you hit the market at the right time to have
Yes.
market share, basically, is how it boils down to it.
No,
But
I think it was really good timing
yes.
and I had a different like look than everybody else. Like there's other people that do this. I
Yeah.
certainly did not invent it, but mine definitely looked different than other ones that I had seen before. And that was important to me to come up with like original designs that look like mine. Like if somebody
Yeah.
sees it, that's goodness gracious, like
I just
I
love
kind
that.
of
Goodness gracious. It's just that you're so
so
true. It's so true. And I love that you said word of mouth is number one because it really is. It's 1000% always going to be number one
yeah.
because you can have as many competitors as you want, but the look that you have for your stuff, the way you make your clients feel, how it is to interact with you, like the most powerful credibility you have is someone else talking about your business, whether
Mhm.
that's on social media
That's very true.
or anything in life. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a huge thing, but you have blown up on social media. I mean, if you're listening to this, go follow her because she's so close to 10K, even though I say that's not important, but it is for her because she's been working really hard for this. So I will
Yeah.
vouch for that aspect of it. Now, a while ago, you said burnout. Let's take I want full transparency if you're willing,
Mhm.
to just talk about like how did you feel like you got there? How did you overcome it? And how did you come back from it? I guess overcome it and come back from it is the exact same thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So,
And you can look at it in the light of like if someone were starting a business
mhm.
or starting their life on social media, because that's what's the daunting part, I think.
Okay, yeah. So definitely have gotten burnout before, especially in the beginning, like because it did I don't want to say blow up, but like got really popular really early and I was still figuring everything out. Um about a year in was whenever I realized, oh my gosh, like I was staying up late every night. It was like holiday season and
Mm-hmm.
would literally like put my kids to bed and then stay up really late, just at my dining room table painting these little hands and um just kind of realized after okay, this is what happened. I opened the kiln one day and there was a whole set of Santa Claus faces that I had painted purple. And it was because the colors looked the same and it was late at night. And I
Oh
was
no.
like, oh my God, like cue the freak out, like, what am I gonna do? These are like Christmas, And so my husband was like, you need help, like that you have to get help,
Right.
which he had been saying that for a while before then. And I had been putting it off because I was like, how am I going to teach somebody, and letting go of
Yeah.
certain things,
It's your
especially
baby.
artistically, yeah, was really hard for me. But I bit the bullet and hired somebody early 2022. And best thing ever.
It's kind of like when you get out of your own way, you're like, wow, what can happen, you
Yeah,
know?
and so that's been a huge help,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm learning to delegate and let go of some things, like
Yeah.
even if it's not the way I would do it, that's okay, it's getting done and that's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
You're still afloat. As long as the quality's there, you're solid.
right.
I just
So,
I love that too, the fact that you were like, "Holy crap," at night, and you were like, "I really screwed up." So how did you first off, I'm curious.
mhm.
Did you have to contact all these clients or were you able to fix it?
It was only 2 people, and I was able to I have the most amazing customers. Everybody is always so incredibly understanding if we ever
Yeah.
make a mistake because at the end of the day, these are children's handprints. We're not like, saving the
Saving the
world
world.
here. And it's really not that big of a deal.
Right.
And so they understand and yeah, we just make it right and that's it.
That's
They're
it.
always so nice and accommodating.
Right. So did you realize in that moment, like, you needed to set more boundaries as in taking on clients? Did you stop taking on new clients?
No.
Were you too hard-headed and you're like, "Screw
Yes.
that, I'm gonna" Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So, like but the thing too is, like, there's 2 different ways right now that's going swirling social media. It is when you start a business, old school way,
Hmm.
you work around the clock because you are working to build your reputation, build your brand, build your business. And then there's also this other side that people are like, "Oh, you don't have to do the hustle culture anymore." And this is the hard line in the middle. You do when you start. Like you have to hustle.
I
You have to
know.
build your business. But there's also when you get to that point, like you just have to understand that you will get to the point of you can say no. Like you don't have to work with certain people.
I'm still I'm a people pleaser, so
Me
it's
too.
really
It's
hard for
very
me to say
hard.
no. Thought about saying no to this today, but I'm glad I said yes.
Is it
But
because you're just nervous or you're just like, I don't have time?
I'm not um good at talking about myself,
No,
and
see,
I
you're
don't
doing
know.
great. The audience is gonna love it. Every time I put out a solo episode, I'm like, that was crap. And people are like, I actually liked it. And I was like,
Yes, I've loved all of yours, and but you're really good at this. I don't know.
I still get nervous. I will say that. But back to you. In the burnout phase aspect of it, or like the hustle culture aspect of it, when you build a business, when you leave corporate and you build a business, no matter
Hmm.
what you see on social media, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. And you
Oh,
leave a
tons.
40-hour job to work.
24/7.
Thank you.
100%.
And they don't see that aspect, and they look at you and they're like, "Oh, I wish I could just have a business like that." Well, they didn't see
Mhm.
you working on your dining room table. They didn't see the mess up that you had because you were so tired, overwhelmed, or whatever the case may have been at
There's
that point.
so much, and yeah, it's such a physical or mine is, like, job too, like, it's
Yes.
just constantly having to physically do stuff, and it's just I don't think there's been a day that I haven't done something business related pretty much since we started.
Yeah. Because it doesn't shut off.
But like happily most days, like because I do enjoy it. But yes, it never shuts off.
It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the chart. Me and Mallory talk about this all the time. It's like the up and down chart of like, you think you're doing really great and then you like dive down and you're like, I
Hmm.
hate everything about why I do this. Let
Yes.
me go back to corporate. Then you're like, oh my God, it's so good. And then that's just entrepreneurship. And you either handle
Yes.
it or you don't. You know what I mean? And so the greatest perk though about it is, and I don't know, I'm 1000% you're going to agree with me. Okay, I should say
Hmm.
like 99.9 is the freedom and the I make the rules. I don't have to tell you I need to go to the doctor, or I don't have to tell you I want to go work out, or I don't have
Yes.
to tell you
I don't
that I
have
want to
to
go to my
ask,
kids'
yeah,
stuff.
to
Like
go
I don't
somewhere.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I love that you faced fear. So you were in corporate, you faced fear, you jumped. You were like, I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home mom. Psych. I'm gonna start a business, work like a crazy person, blow up, coming on year 3, and you're
Hmm.
still going and you're loving it and you're happy and you love
Yeah.
social media as much as all of it too. I know that too for a
Yes.
fact.
I mean,
I'm kidding. Totally
I
kidding.
do love social media, but that's a whole separate job, pretty much. It really is.
It is 100% a different job. But the thing is too, is exactly what you just said. We see this a lot too, is people have a hard time letting go of social media because it is your baby. That is you. That's your business. That's your word. Like that's you.
Hmm.
And I understand that. I'm like, I don't think
And
I
see, I
could.
haven't done that yet. I haven't let go of that. Like nobody else has
That's her. That's all
touched my
you.
Instagram. But I don't know.
It's it's but that's okay. There's certain people where I'd be like, you have to keep it. Or there's businesses. It's a lot easier for people that aren't necessarily a personal brand to behind it
Hmm.
to let go of it, or they don't have it, or they don't want to do it, or they don't believe in it. Like those people we're great for.
Yeah.
When we go hand in hand, which we still do with personal brands or brands like yours,
Hmm.
it's hard because it's like me trying to hire someone to help me run it, Shelby Clement. I'm like, you
Hmm.
ain't touching it.
So would you do like a hybrid where I like
Hmm.
do?
So we
Okay.
work with personal brands where it's like it's a partnership now. So like you're hiring us to make sure your grid is consistent and your posting schedule and your strategy is on point and consistent to what works. So like if you're
Okay.
in the mix of a bunch of stuff and you were like, oh crap, it's 6 o'clock at night, I forgot to post today. What can I post?
I've.
We take that out of that. So like we'll tell clients this, okay, you choose to work with us and we post 3 times a week for you. You know,
Hmm.
1000% you will have 3 posts that week. For the whole month, you will have 12 posts. Now, when we work with personal brands, I'm like, but that doesn't mean that you don't need to get on stories or that
Yeah.
you can't post on top or that you can't just pop on and be like, hey, what's up, everybody? Like those
Hmm.
things. Like I encourage that because I will never be you. We can
Right.
speak like you. We can learn like you. Our girls are very
Hmm.
trained to become
Mimic.
our client's brand,
Okay.
like their tone of voice, like all those things.
Hmm.
But I will never be you. Just like no one can get on my stories and be like, hey, like,
Yeah.
no, what?
Okay, well that's good to know because I tend to get in like little social media ruts where I like if I'm really busy with work or kid stuff,
Yeah.
then that's the first thing to go. Like
It's
it
the first thing to
it's
go
backwards because like I'm doing a ton of work that I could be on there
on there.
posting about,
Mhm.
but I'm not because I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And
It
so
happens to me as well too, because like I am busy running the business and then all the other
mhm,
people's accounts. So mine goes on the back burner. And I get
I
guilty of like,
cannot
oh
imagine.
God,
Yeah.
it's 6 o'clock at night and I didn't post anything today. Well, whatever. I don't care that much. But the thing is, I tell people this, it's so small, but it's such a big impact. So like
Mhm.
it doesn't guarantee you sales, but it guarantees you brand awareness. So even if you are busy, you still need to be posting consistently for the algorithm to understand that you're still there. You're still doing it.
Yeah.
Now that also in the same breath, it's okay to take a break. So like if you're busy and you're overwhelmed, your kids are crazy and you have all this crap going on and you have other deadlines to make,
Right.
chill. Just be like, I'm sorry, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. Like it's cool. That's fine. Coming out of my mouth,
Okay.
totally fine.
Good to know.
Okay. Now talking about, I wanted to still touch on the social media aspect of it because you did say it's a little bit out of your realm. Like that's not what you do, but
Yeah.
you have to do it.
Mhm.
How do you deal with imposter syndrome in the comparison game? Or are you just like boss babe and you're like, it doesn't bother me.
I don't really have imposter syndrome anymore.
Okay.
I
How'd you
guess
get past that?
I guess just like confidence in like booking appointments and
Yeah.
seeing people love their products and the messages from my customers. Like, so many messages all the time that are so sweet. Like, whenever they'll get their order, it's like, oh, this is perfect.
Was it me?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay, no. Usually the typical messages are like, I cried opening it. It's the first
Oh,
thing that I'll
yep.
grab whenever we evacuate for a hurricane. And then yours was,
Oh my God.
yeah, can I cuss on here?
Yes, you can.
It
It's
was,
called damn good content.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was holy shit. I'm obsessed. And it's the only like message that's made me laugh.
Out loud.
Yeah, pretty much, because usually they're like,
I cried.
yeah.
Which actually, I do remember texting you that. I mean, sending you that because I do remember you posting it. But
Yes, it's so
it's
funny.
so funny because that's so me. Because I'm like, just like,
Yes.
I don't say, I mean, I do cry. I'm a very emotional human being. But at the same time,
And not everybody says they cry, but
like,
some people,
it's
yeah.
different. It's probably elegant and graceful. Like, if you think
Mhm.
about Kelsey and you think about me, our responses are so different. We're just
Yes.
different. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love
That was one of my favorite messages after.
after it. But the imposter syndrome aspect of it, so you're over it. Done.
I mean,
What? Okay, let me back up. It's hard to say that like when you because I feel like everybody deals with it a little bit.
mhm.
Maybe as you mature and like if you're not on if you're not on social media as much, I guess you're not like really feeling like an imposter. But what advice would you give someone starting out that maybe deals with that? What advice would you tell them for them to get over that?
um, so I would say to really hone in on your skills and get really good at whatever it is that you're about to be selling or doing so that you can feel confident in what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think that also helps me too because I really love what I'm doing and I love the product and the final result. And I think if you are confident in that, then that will help. You'll know, like, okay, well, I want this, so I know other
Yeah.
people will too,
Yeah.
And so I think that has really helped me. And um, yeah, I guess just engaging with people on social media helps too, like building a little community. And then it kind of feels like you're talking to people that and
Like
then
we've
it's
never
not so
we met
scary.
once. I was supposed to say we've
Yeah.
never met. But every
Yeah.
time I talk to someone, like I feel like if
You
you
feel
open
like
that line of
you,
communication
yeah.
and you get to know them genuinely,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like when you meet, it's just like, hey, old friend, what's
Yeah.
up? You know?
Yeah.
So I love that answer because like I deal with it a lot because my life is literally on social media. But I do agree with like it has gotten better because the more you do, the more you experience, the more confident you
You get
get.
some like feathers in your hat and then you're like, okay, and you kind of realize everybody is like faking it till they
Until they
make
make
it a
it.
little bit.
Because nobody knows.
Nobody, yeah.
I literally called my parents on the way here today and I was like, why? I'm blaming you. I mean, if I'm very dramatic. Everyone listening and watching should know this. But I was like, I'm blaming you because you didn't tell me how hard entrepreneurship is. They're like, Shelby, that's dramatic. And I'm like, you have such like high highs
Mhm.
and then low of lows. And I'm like, I feel like I'm psycho. Because
Yeah.
it's like you don't know what's about to happen. And then it all just comes at you. And I'm like, I
And
love it
there's so many like tabs open in your head all the
all the
time.
time.
Like I
What
was
I
telling my
don't,
husband I cannot focus because I've just got so many things
you have so much
I'm
going on.
always thinking about or things that I need to do, things that I want to do, like really ambitious days where you're like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm like, and then it's like, okay, but how?
And then you're like, it's 6:00. Shoot, I forgot to
Yeah.
get the kids.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I didn't do that, but I literally feel like this all the time. This is actually a great segue into like being a mom, being an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
is how do you manage it? Because like I feel like every time I go to drop off my kids, one, I look like a hobo Joe. Obviously, you see what I wear on some days. And then I feel like I always forget. Like I'm like, y'all have so much crap to turn in and you're 4 and 3. So like,
just wait.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
And I forgot. And today is Spirit Day. And I didn't put you in your Spirit Day shirt. I put you in your uniform shirt. And like, you're the only kid. Do I need to come to school? I'm like, what
I don't
day
have
is
that
it?
perfected. I don't have the answer because literally my son was the only one not in the spirit shirt the other day.
Oh my God, that was like me the first Friday. Okay, you make me feel so
my
normal.
husband sent me the picture that they had emailed, and I was like on
Cool.
the verge of tears because I was like,
Don't you
oh
always-
my God,
Like, I feel
my
like
baby.
our kids aren't.
And he couldn't have cared less.
Exactly.
He could
We
not
care
have cared
more.
less. Yes. It's too many things to remember. And honestly, they didn't send the email until the day before. And I was like, "Wait, I had an event that night and I was like, we just missed it,
Yeah.
like
I have
it
this, there
happens."
was this mom a long time ago. She told me this one piece of advice. It was like this: if you don't make it a big deal, they won't make it a big deal.
Yeah,
So like if you don't bring it to their attention that they don't look like everyone else, then they're not going to care as
that's
much.
so
And I'm
true.
like, that's actually valid. It just makes me feel better as a human,
Hmm.
because I'm like, I can't keep up. I literally texted Stephanie the other day. I was like, this sheet of paper has been on my counter, but I didn't know it belonged with the box that we turned in, but I
Yeah,
didn't turn the paper in with the box. I'm like, I can't.
it's a lot to keep track of. It honestly is.
And then you have the moms that
So
want to be
some
like,
things are just gonna,
it just goes.
yeah.
I'm like, I can't be. I saw it last year when our kids when we moved here, obviously, we went to school. And I was so ambitious. Kelsey was like, do not sign up for a lot of things. And I'm like, the first day I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so involved.
See, I know I'm not room mom material.
I didn't do
I'm
that.
not doing that.
Kelsey told me not to do that. And my husband actually went to one orientation and said, I signed you up as room mom. And I was like, I will kill you. He didn't. It was a joke. And so, which kudos to all the room moms, because like you do a lot. I cannot. I always forget.
That's a type A personality. I can't
Truly.
do that.
And when I signed up and then came to the days, I'm like, why? Why do I want to be an overachiever? Like,
yeah.
stop. Okay, so get back on focus. How do you manage? Well, we basically already talked about it, but I want a little bit deep diving a little bit more. But how do you manage being a mom and an entrepreneur and running a business? And now you have an employee, question mark?
I have 4 employees now.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Get it, girl.
Yeah.
So oh my God, I have so many questions. So we're backing up. We'll come back to this question. So so your husband said you need help and you're like, nah, I got this. And then in 2020, end of 2022, you hired one person.
I hired one person, early 2022.
Early 2022.
Early 2022. And because it was the holiday season that I did the Santas. And then the purple Santas. And then, yes, immediately January posted that I was hiring and found perfect girl for me. Like she's one of my customers, actually.
That's amazing.
And yeah, so she's still with me. And then about 6 months later, one of her friends was looking for something. And so she started with us as well. And then 2 more this year.
Like you're like growing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like,
It's
are you
fun,
like freaking out inside?
It's awesome because they're helping me with like streamlining processes, and figuring out like what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, and
The crap you didn't have time to do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
And
question.
so-
You're going to look at me like I'm psycho and you're going to
Right.
be like, no, but I'm really hoping you say yes. Did you document from the beginning to now?
What?
Like your life, like you, like I was on one, like, do you have video from you from when you started and then now, like when you hired your first person and you hired your second person? Nope. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
The reason I'm asking that is because I just asked somebody that the other day, and I actually wish, like thinking back, even though I'm really good at video and like I document literally everything, borderline annoying. I wish I would have documented more, just because like it's so cool to hear and then to showcase on your social of like, this social media is fake, straight up. Like it is. It's a preview of someone's life. You see the good. They choose what they show you. So if they could have seen like, well, Caroline started here.
Yeah.
Now she has 4 employees and she's freaking kicking ass. But like, I want to be in her journey. Like I just met her this year, but I would have loved to see her like that progress. So I think your challenge now is to start here.
Okay.
Start now and go, even if it's photos, like, you know what I mean? Like photos from when like you started. Like I wish I would have taken a video of me walking out of corporate the day I quit. I mean, I had it 2 weeks, but like the day I quit, I wish I would have done
I took a picture of my ID badge. I didn't take a picture.
Like we didn't think of that,
out,
like how it's evolved.
I didn't know I thought I was just going to stay home,
You were
and
like,
so yeah.
Just gonna run.
I took pictures
kiddos.
of my babies.
I know.
Whenever I was home, but yeah,
it's just like something to think about, like too, like just going forward, because like that's a huge jump. 2020, now you have 4 employees. It's 2023, and like you're killing it.
Yeah, and Mississippi opened this year also. Did I tell you? Did you know that?
No.
Okay, so we sort of franchised in
Shut up
earlier this year.
Jonah's gonna have to tone
I'm
that
not doing
down.
as good a job on social media that I should be.
You may have said it, and I may have
I
missed it.
definitely did.
Okay.
And she's like,
I definitely missed it then. It's my bad. You're doing
Yes.
great. Continue.
but yeah, so let me back up. In 2021, a childhood friend of mine brought her children to get their prints done and loved her pieces so much. And so, about a year later, contacted me and she said, I've been watching, your business grow and I'm so excited for you. What do you think about bringing Goodness Gracious to Mississippi? And I was like, oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's talk about it.
And so we spent a long time training and figuring out the legalities of it. Basically, she wanted to replicate Goodness Gracious, but in Madison, Mississippi, where she lives.
Is it called Goodness Gracious still?
Yes,
Okay.
it's Goodness Gracious. So she has my same branding. It's pretty much
It's just a
a second
franchise. Yeah.
location.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so she's allowed to use all of my designs, everything. So that's pretty much,
I
and I
feel
was able
dumb,
to
but I feel like
teach
I knew
her.
this.
Yeah,
Maybe not.
I think you did.
That's fine.
I don't know. But yeah, so she started in May of this year and she's killing it too.
Okay, first off, I probably knew that, so we won't edit it out. I'll just feel like a dum dum. But second, you need to talk about that more. I think. Does she have her own Insta? Do you
She has
post?
a separate
Does
Instagram.
it say like Goodness Gracious Mississippi?
Mississippi. Yep.
She
Her
doesn't
name
even.
is Rebecca Daly, and she is
I'm so proud of
really
you.
creative and talented. And yeah, so it's been really fun and exciting watching that happen, you know? Um,
This is so freaking cool.
yeah.
You're like a celebrity. You're
Nah,
literally like in
stop. Oh my God.
Mississippi now. That's so freaking cool. I genuinely mean that.
Thank
Is she
you.
so she's a mom too, so it makes sense.
Yes. So
So
she
is
has two small children,
everybody that works with you is a mom too?
all of them. Yep. And so
See,
we are,
I feel like it makes it so much better because they understand, you all understand. It's
we're
not.
all in the same like phase of life. And that's all we talk about while we're
Yeah,
working is
yeah.
our children and what we have coming up, what they're doing, it's fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So how do you like being a boss?
That is new to me and not something that I expected. But I do really like it and I feel like they're all my friends now.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it and we all get along. There's never any issues or anything that, I mean, it's just easy.
Yeah. It just
They make it
works.
easy
Yeah.
too. I feel like I got so lucky with all four of them that,
Yeah.
and Rebecca,
God
uh,
knew.
I think choosing the right people
Is
is
huge. It's
huge.
huge.
Yes.
Let's circle back now
Mm-hmm.
to managing mom life and being an entrepreneur. Do you
Mm-hmm.
deal with like the mom guilt aspect of things, owning a business? If you don't anymore, how did you overcome it? Because I would love some advice.
Yes. I mean, there's definitely some of that. But the beauty of this is I'm able to I never miss anything,
Yeah.
because I can kind of plan my schedule around theirs. And I've kind of like laid off on the weekend work because they
There.
are in school now and that's really like family
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
but dealing with the mom guilt, I mean, they're in and out of the studio
All the
constantly,
time.
so they're always there and playing, and they're welcome in there.
Yeah.
So they see that, and I like for them to see that, um, that we're working hard, and that
You're instilling great values.
right, that was important to me, and I'm very excited they're seeing that. Um, and they see it with my husband too. He started his business right around the same time I did.
So what does your husband do? Is he a doctor?
No, he does neuromonitoring, in orthopedic
Oh, okay. Because
surgeries,
you said
and
in surgery.
so
I was like, oh, okay.
yeah, no,
I only
he's
know
not a
you.
surgeon, but, it's like a service for the surgeons,
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
so he's been doing that for pretty much since right after we met, like 18 years ago,
And he
and
has
so
his own business
and now
too.
he has his
That's
own.
really cool because going back to mom guilt, there's time, especially if I have to travel. Like if I have to travel, I really feel it because then you're like,
Mhm.
I feel like, okay, well, I left corporate to be more present, but I also can still be present. Like I can take a day off and be like, I'm not
Right.
doing this. And someone looked at me and was like, you're instilling the values of a hardworking woman to your boys and like
Yes,
what to look for when they get married or when they grow up and what hard
exactly.
work looks like. So like
Yeah.
that also helped me flip the switch of like that. But then I also am surrounded by people that are always, so I'm either surrounded by people that work their 9 to 5, they shut it off, they go home, they're with their kids all the time, every day.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Or you're with the stay at home mom friends that are literally like, I'm with my kids all the time. And
Mhm.
they're not doing anything to make me feel bad. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's
And see,
like,
I've had literally all 3 of those scenarios that you just said.
you
I
have.
did 9 to 5 where whenever I left, I did not think about work, and then I did the stay-at-home mom thing, and now entrepreneur, and this is by far my favorite, like
Well, yeah, because you get the best of both worlds.
yeah, and I mean, Felicity talks about taking over, goodness gracious, one day. She has come to pop-ups with me. So, I mean, it's good.
It's just like you're building the you're literally building the future, and I think sometimes it's really hard to see it because, like, you see that crap, I say it loosely, crap,
Mhm.
is when it's like, you need to cherish the childhood moments, and, like, I'm an emotional human, like, period, hands down. I'm trying. It's getting better, hopefully. But, like, I'm like, "Oh, am I spending enough time with my kids?" But I also really wanna build this business, and then I also catch myself saying, like, God, I wish I'd have started this earlier. So then could you imagine where it would have been? But like that wasn't a
Right.
part of the freaking plan, Shelby. Calm down. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So like
You
there's
gotta
just
trust the
as
process.
a mom, it's just so many tabs of all types of information.
Yes, it really.
Okay, so as we wrap up, I want you to tell them a little bit about you. So you are a mom, obviously. You are a wife. How old are
Yes.
your kiddos? You have two.
I have 2. I have Felicity, she's 9, and Henry is 4, and, yeah.
They're awesome. That's so cute. I remember coming to get our handprints and you were like, I have a Henry. And so
Oh,
I got to see his
yes.
name. Like you
Lots
literally
of
had
little
like an
Henrys,
example and you
yes.
literally were like, this is what it look like. I was like, I want
Yes,
that whole look.
that's exactly what it looked
Everything. I
like.
want all of that right now. Anyway, okay. Well, I want people to be able to find you. So tell us where they can follow you. And obviously it'll be in the show notes, but I would like for you to give a little rundown on that as well.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, it's Goodness Gracious Ceramic Prints, and, same thing on Facebook, and website coming soon.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. Okay, wait. We
Yeah.
didn't cover this too before we log off.
Mhm.
Um, Can people just make it? How does this work? Do people make appointments? Do they have to go to the pop-up? Like where tell us the goods.
So right now I'm booking exclusively from a wait list. So people can email me to get on the wait list, and then I'll occasionally do pop-ups too, and I have a separate wait list for that. Um and then it's by appointment only. So they'll come to my studio and we will do the prints and choose all the details and yeah, get your product 8 to 10 weeks later.
Right, just I was gonna say how long, and then where tell everybody where you're located.
So I'm just outside Baton Rouge in Prairieville.
Awesome sauce. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. I'm so
So
excited. Wait, no,
yeah.
not last question. Last question is this. How long is the wait list? What?
I don't know how long it
Not
is,
like many
but yeah.
people, but like how if
Right
they were
now
to
it's
get on your
about
wait list, like
2
how
months.
gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
not too bad. And it's something okay, so I used to post them on Instagram and then it would they'd book up so quickly that
Hence
it
I
became
took
kind of
4.
like
Mhm.
I would just get message after message after message, and this is just a fairer way of doing it.
Oh yeah.
So everybody can eventually get
A
in,
ceramic because
and
you're a
be
hot
happy.
commodity because you're awesome. Like truly, I have multiple pieces. I will get on the wait list again
Yeah.
for you. Last question of the whole
Mhm.
thing is I asked, and you probably know this probably was gonna be a question if you do listen to my podcast.
For sure.
But what is one thing that you would tell younger Caroline?
Um, okay, so I would tell younger Caroline to stop worrying so much about what people think. And yeah, I spent way too long doing that. And before I even started Goodness Gracious, I was like, is anybody even gonna want this? Is this silly? I definitely don't think that anymore, but I've also had the same thoughts like, what if I had started earlier? But actually I didn't have the idea then. So
Yeah,
but yeah, just stop worrying what everybody's thinking, and because everybody's just trying to, you know,
survive,
survive.
follow their dreams. The difference
Yeah, we're
is
all in the same boat.
you
So
chased your dreams, even though
yeah,
you were scared.
and be original. I would, you know,
Love that. Be
yes,
yourself.
yes,
Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean you can't.
right.
You set
Just come
yourself
up with your
apart.
own designs, your own look, and don't worry about what anybody else is doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All
This was
right, guys.
fun.
If you like this episode, please like, comment, share, obviously. And until next time, let's freaking get it.